Most people aren't scared of PM interviews because they're bad communicators. They're scared of PM interviews because they simply have no idea what the interviewer is actually looking for. In this video, I'm going to hit on 3 main reasons why people suck at PM interviews and why they're terrified of them. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you feel scared and what you can actually do about it, and also what interviewers are really looking for when they're interviewing you for a PM job. So the first reason why you're scared of PM interviews is simply because you have no idea what the interviewer is actually assessing. So right off the bat, if you think the project management interviews are about technical discipline and your deep knowledge of the PMBOK terms like agile or waterfall or the tools that project managers use or the software that you're going to need to use to manage your project, that's not what hiring managers care about. Unfortunately, you've got it all wrong if that's what you believe. Project management is first and foremost a people-driven discipline. Interviewers primarily care about your soft skills. Can you lead? How do you act under pressure? Can you communicate clearly? Are you confident speaking with stakeholders? In my community of over hundreds of aspiring project managers, unfortunately, all of them put a very heavy emphasis on the technical skills of project managers. They can define project methodologies like Agile, Waterfall, and Scrum from memory. They know how to calculate the critical path. They know how to calculate schedule and cost variances, but they forget something that's very important. Interviewers already expect you to know the technical basics, and so they're assessing something completely different. Is this someone who's going to be able to hold their own in a room with different stakeholders? And so the reason you're scared of PM interviews is because you don't know what they're assessing. You think they're looking to see if you know all the terminology from the PMBOK, when all they're really trying to assess is this someone that I can bring inside the company that's going to be able to work with the teams that are already here? Are they going to be able to jive with the personalities that are already here? Are they going to be able to demonstrate influence and leadership? Are they going to be able to communicate clearly, organize things, and create structure out of chaos? That's the kind of skills they're looking for. They're not looking to see if this guy is technically savvy from a project management perspective. Does he know how to use the tools that project managers use, or use MS Project or Asana or Workday or Confluence or Jira? They're not interested in those things. Yes, they might list them on their job description, but that's not what they're assessing during the interview. The second reason you might be scared of PM interviews is because of imposter syndrome. You might have already got your PMP certificate. Your resume might already say project manager, but deep down, you know you've never really worked as a project manager for a top tier company. Maybe you've done PM tasks like communicating updates, tracking work, escalating issues, vendor management, but because your job title was never officially project manager, you feel like an imposter. You feel like you're kind of stretching your experience a little bit. And so before or during interviews, you always get this nagging voice in your head that says, hey, I'm not who I say I am. What if they find out? What if I get exposed? And so I know for myself, when I was interviewing for my first PM roles, I felt like an imposter. I would change the title from project lead on my resume to project manager. And even though I wasn't lying because I was doing PM work, I just didn't have the title or pay. What made me feel like an imposter even more was seeing the salaries, and I was applying for jobs that were paying $90,000 or $120,000, and I had never made that kind of money before, and I didn't know how to act or what they expected from someone in a role that was making that much money. I had no idea what $120,000 worth of work looked like. And so what changed everything for me was simply stating the facts and telling the truth. And so in my interviews, I would openly explain that, hey, my official title was project lead, but the reason I put project manager here is because I was the one that was accountable for the results. I was the one who owned the outcome, and I even had a budget authority. In other words, there was no official PM on the project, and I just assumed the role. And so by doing this, I was stating the facts and telling the truth, and this came across a lot more believable during the interview, and it also removed that inner voice inside of me that would say, hey, you're not really who you say you are, because now I was stating the facts and telling the truth. And the second thing I started to do was to build an undeniable stack of proof that I am who I say I am by creating and managing my own PM style projects on the side at home. And so I would literally build projects at home, IT projects at home, like, hey, I'm going to try to build my own website. I'm going to try to build my own small mobile application. And by doing these projects at home, it gave me the experience of actually building and managing projects that I could then talk about during interviews, and it built up the undeniable stack of proof that I am who I say I am. And by doing this, it also helped me eliminate imposter syndrome. It helped me build trust and confidence with my interviewers, and it eventually got me hired as a full-fledged project manager. So once again, the lesson here is state the facts, tell the truth, and build the proof that you are who you say you are. So unfortunately, your confidence is not going to come from certificates. It's not going to come from a piece of paper. It's going to come from you actually doing the work of a project manager. And the last reason you're terrified of project manager interviews is simply because you don't see yourself as a leader. For the longest time, I avoided applying for roles with the title manager in it because I didn't feel ready. I didn't see myself as a manager. I didn't see myself as a leader. I didn't see myself as a coach. And I thought, I'm too young. I don't have enough experience. A manager, me, how can I be a project manager or a manager in general? And so I would have instead apply for coordinator roles, lead roles, analyst type roles, specialist type roles. And I would avoid any roles that were leadership oriented type roles. And so if you don't see yourself as a leader and you do land an interview for a project manager role, you know subconsciously you don't feel like a leader, you're not ready to lead, and that's why you're going to be terrified during the interview, and it's going to come across obvious to the interviewer that you're not ready for a leadership role. Now the good news is there's a very easy way to fix this, and it's simply through personal development and personal growth. So if you want to start becoming a leader and start acting like a leader and start thinking like a leader, you need to start reading books on goal setting, on achievement, on leadership, attending seminars and classes and webinars on communication and growth. You need to start doing the things that you said you were going to do. You need to start holding yourself accountable. And when you start to do these things, you start emerging as a leader. And so when you lead yourself consistently, you start to naturally begin leading others. And just like that, opportunities start presenting themselves. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut to leadership or high-paying roles. You need to invest in your personal development. You need to start listening to mentors like Brian Tracy, like Jim Rohn, like John C. Maxwell. You need to start feeding your brain with the right information. You need to start planting the right seeds. And this is what's going to help you grow into a leadership role. Now that we know the 3 reasons why you might be terrified of project manager interviews, number 1 being you simply don't have any idea what they're actually looking for. Number 2, you feel like an imposter because you actually haven't done project manager like work. And number 3, you don't see yourself as a leader. Now we can turn our attention to what interviewers are actually looking for from you in a project manager interview. So the hiring manager is looking for someone who will not embarrass them in front of senior leaders. They're asking themselves, hey, can this person get along with executives? Can this person represent us well? And would I trust this person in a steering committee meeting? They're looking for someone who has strong communication and presentation skills. They're asking themselves, hey, can this person present comfortably in front of a group of people or remotely? They're looking to see, hey, can this person speak clearly under pressure? And they're looking to see, is this someone who can translate chaos into structure and clarity? And then lastly, they're looking to see, is this someone who genuinely thinks like a project manager on a day-to-day basis? And what that means is this someone who talks in risks and managing risk? Is this someone who talks about escalating issues properly to bring visibility for leadership on issues that are worthy to bring visibility to? And number 3, hiring manager are looking to see, is this someone who thinks like a project manager on a day-to-day basis? And thinking like a project manager means, is this someone who thinks about managing risks, escalating issues properly, bringing structure to chaos, staying organized, staying calm under pressure? And interviewers want to see examples of moments where things went wrong and what you did about them, or how everything blew up and how you were able to restore order, or how you kept cool through a tough challenge or interpersonal conflict and how you led through it. That's what interviewers are looking for in PM interviews. They're not looking for your knowledge of the PMBOK. They're not looking for your knowledge of the waterfall methodology or agile methodology or how to calculate the critical path or earned value management. Those things are important. Those things have their place. But in an interview, you're expected to know that stuff already. And now they're assessing you for your soft skills, for your presence, how you come across, how you communicate, how you're going to be able to integrate yourself into the team and existing culture, and how you're going to be able to move the project forward and get the results that they're looking for. All right, guys, hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you guys now know why you guys might be scared going into PM interviews, and now you also have clarity on what the interviewers are actually looking for in a PM interview. So your next interview, you can be successful at actually getting the job. If you're serious about becoming a project manager and you really want to start nailing interviews and you want more support and more guidance in making sure you're successful in your next PM interview, I invite you to join my PM community of over 700 plus aspiring project managers who are getting the hands-on training and practical experience that they need to be successful in giving interviews and actually doing the job of a project manager. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the link below, join my community and start gaining hands-on practical project management experience today. And if nothing else, give me a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to this video, and I'll see you on the next one.